was having lunch with Penina Lieber, and I was relatively new to Pittsburgh. And Penina, I told Penina that I was interested in getting involved in a community organization that truly spoke to me. Penina immediately said, "You've got to go look at the Neighborhood Academy." So she introduced me to Jody. The next thing I know, I'm having lunch with Jody and Joe Massaro, and they proceeded to tell me the story of how the school got started and the plan to rewrite family histories. And I was intrigued. So I said, okay. So I came over to the school for a tour, and it was in the old Champion Commons facility, leaky roofs. And as we dodged the drops and the buckets on the floor catching the rain, I was greeted by students who looked me in the eye, shook my hand, greeted me with a smile, spoke up so I could hear them, and I was hooked. Gary Doyle was getting off the board. He had been board treasurer, I think, since its inception, and I had just met Jody. People always assume the banker, which I'm a banker, can be the treasurer. Gary had been the director of investor relations at Free Markets. This was a giant step down in financial skills from Gary Doyle to Jim Nealon. But I accepted the challenge. Gary was very gracious and kind of showed me the rules of the road. Rick Alter helped me to understand some of the unique accounting, particularly with the long-term pledges that we would receive. And Rick was also a master at managing cash flow, which was a very necessary skill in those early years. So I'm not sure I was terribly helpful as a treasurer. What I tried to do with the board was to explain our challenging financial situation in a way as to not create panic. I was always impressed with the way, or awestruck, with the calm demeanor the board kept while I explained that I was pretty sure we had enough cash to get through the next 6 months. There's a couple of things that stand out with me, and this is where I get emotional. One of my favorite things is the alumni dinners we do at the Nealon home. We started them right after the first class graduated. And I believe at the first dinner we had Kat, Candy, and Janaea. And it grew from there. We invited Tom and Jody to some of them, but we stopped inviting them because the students, some of them feared, or the alumni feared, that they would be grilled by Jody and Tom regarding the path they were on. That always broke my heart a little bit because these young adults didn't understand that that was out of love. And then another great memory of those dinners was Francine Abraham. She really kind of invited herself. She heard about the dinners and said, "I'm coming." She'd always bring dessert. She was a huge help in the kitchen, but you could tell she was there because she knew the kids and wanted to see the alumni. It gave her so much joy. So my first point of entry event was at Champion Commons. My guests were treated to a small group tour by a couple of students. After the tour, we came into one of the classrooms, and this was while school was still in session in the evening. Tom stands up, takes over the room like only Tom can. And he proceeds to tell the story of the school, and his vision for a brighter future for the students. And I remember sitting back and saying, wow, Tom is going to convince these people to support the school. This is going to be a big success. Tom finishes, he asks if there's any questions or comments. And Tim Caskey, God rest his soul, raises his hand and he said, he was commenting on the interaction he had with his tour guide. Handshake, look him in the eye. Throughout the tour, he could hear the person speaking in an audible tone. And he looked at Tom and he said, you know, you didn't need to go through all this. You had me at hello. The Neighborhood Academy has been life-changing for our students. Happy 21st anniversary, Neighborhood Academy.